They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and my luck journey began exactly that way. It started as a small seed, one I didn't even know was there. Quiet, unassuming, but over time it dug deeper and deeper, took roots, and eventually sprang forth as a decision. After 6 years of wearing my natural hair loose, I chose right there in that moment to lock my hair and begin a journey I truly thought would last much longer than it actually did. This is the story of how a seed took roots, grew deep roots, sprang out as locks, and gave me two of the most interesting years of my life when it comes to my hair. Let's go on this journey. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Jennifer, her crown Jennifer. That girl is me, your narrator, and I love her. But for 6 years of my life, I was deprived of her. I attended a secondary school where hair was not allowed, so every few weeks it was the barbing salon, cutting my hair over and over again against my will. And I remember the last day when I was to cut my hair before leaving for boarding school. I sat there and made a quiet promise to myself. I will never cut my hair again. At that time in Nigeria, wearing your natural hair without relaxers was not the norm. Everybody relaxed their hair, unless you were deeper life or something. And since I wasn't, relaxing my hair felt like the next right step. So after WAEC and NECO, I relaxed my hair. And over the next 3 years, my hair was damaged. That damage pushed me into starting my natural hair journey again. Even though I had sworn that I would never cut my hair, I did cut it. I was young, I was about 19, and with very little real knowledge about hair care, I had to go onto YouTube, and using the free Wi-Fi from my hostel, I started to utilize all the tips I got. I used avocado, eggs, onions, rice water, you name it. Oh, the good old days. I made mistakes, a lot of them, but secretly I had a dream. I wanted tailbone length hair. And then another seed appeared. I started to scroll through Instagram explore pages to just see what was out there. And I started to notice beautiful women with locks. Micro locks, sister locks, traditional locks. I had always known about locks, but traditional locks never felt like me. These ones though, the micro locks, the sister locks, they looked intentional. They looked soft, feminine, structured. Still, I told myself, maybe this is a retirement hairstyle. Maybe when I turn 40, I could just lock my hair. But I didn't know the seed had already taken root. Fast forward to like a year later, I started sending those lock pictures to my sister who struggled with hair breakage. I told her, do you want to try locking your hair? Because you've tried everything, but you've not tried this one. She did, and her hair started to thrive. And then life shifted again. I became a mother. And suddenly, the 1 to 2 hours I used to spend on my hair, I simply wanted to give it to my child. That's when the thought hit me. Imagine waking up and not having to do anything to your hair. Getting the real I woke up like this feeling is what I desired so much as at that point. It felt right. And I made the decision that I was going to lock my hair as well. Now, finding who could recreate what I saw online was the hardest part because you know the whole trend of what I ordered versus what I got. I didn't want that to happen to my hair. So I chose control. Instead of interlocking, which was going to be a more intricate method, I started with twists. And I contacted the women of the Daughters of Grace. This was a salon that was in my estate as at that time. Now, 5 women came to my house. Their madam and 4 girls. And it took 8 hours. 8 hours of twisting with my 6 months old baby. It was not easy. This all happened December 14th, 2024. As they twisted my hair, I looked at how far I had come, all the mistakes and all, and I felt hope. I honestly felt it was the right decision. I knew it wouldn't look perfect immediately. I knew it would look a bit flat, because I had educated myself on how the first day would look versus the first year. But I knew it held promise. And when it was done, I felt free. Now, this is day one. This is day two. This is month one. This is my first retire day. These are subsequent videos, just showing me trying different styles. I spent 2 full years in Locs, 2 years without wigs, without stress. I experimented. I did braid outs, twist outs, different styles. I styled myself to go for a friend's birthday party. I styled myself to go different places with the locks. But the greatest gift Locs gave me? He gave me the gift of not having to think about my hair. So I was able to focus on my life, my child, my marriage, my growth. And I loved it. I loved it when people would ask me, "Is that your hair?" And I would simply smile because it truly feels good to be complimented over something that grows directly from your scalp. No extensions, no wigs, no nothing. The truth is, locks still require care. So I had to go through a myriad of locticians, 5 to be exact. Some were good, some were terrible. Then came another December, this time in 2024. Now, this time I was preparing to go back to my hometown in Delta State because my sisters were getting married, 2 of them, and I was pregnant with twins. The urgency during that period to go meet up with my family, to be there for my sisters, made me make a bad decision. I trusted the wrong hands because my loctician was not available. He had been booked and busy. He basically was booked and busy. And I had to make substitutions. And I trusted someone who said he could do it without seeing his work. And this loctician joined several of my locks without my permission because I don't know what his plan was. Maybe he felt like I wouldn't notice, but he did. And he joined the front of my hair. And this it just changed the whole trajectory for me. The front of my hair became distorted. Some were big, some were small. I didn't like it at all. It was not a good feeling. It wasn't a good feeling. I had to power through the holidays, the weddings, and when I came back, I contacted my loctician, the one that I'm used to, the one that does a good job. And he tried to fix some, he tried to separate some, and it caused me to lose at least 3 or 4 of my locks. And I just didn't like it. And then, without knowing it, a new seed was formed. I didn't like my hair anymore, as much at least, because it was like, okay, now I have to wait. I have to wait for this thing to grow out, and I didn't like that reality. Now, it forced me to go back because this time I powered through, gave birth, and it was now like, okay, what's next? I'm a new mom now, this time of twins, so I'm a mom of 3. What next? Why am I feeling this discomfort when it comes to my hair? And then it occurred to me that I had to go back to my why. I started asking so many questions like, why do I care so much about hair? Why am I passionate about hair? Why do I care so much? Why locks? Why not locks? And it took me back to my real why. I wasn't just passionate about hair for beauty. I wanted to teach, to educate, to normalize natural hair. I wanted it to be the norm and not the exception. I wanted it to be what we just wear out because that's what God gave us and not a trend. Because I keep saying, oh, is natural hair, like, is this a good trend? Is the trend in place? Has the trend come back? And in my head, I'm like, this is not a trend. It's like saying, oh, is black skin a trend now? It's the black skin God gave us, so it's not a trend. It just is. It is what it is. It is our hair. And then I realized something. I realized that locks, as beautiful as they are, they're very niche. And for the work that I am called to do, for the assignment that God has placed in my hands, I need to be where the majority of people are. I need to be where people are. So I made the bold decision, and more of this was spoken about in my previous videos, so I will link them down in the description box below and in the comments. I made a bold decision because there's a myriad of things. There's a reason, a full reason. This is one of it, but there's so many other things like the dream I had. I just decided I was going to cut my hair. Not out of regret. Not because locks were not comfortable. Locks are very comfortable. But sometimes comfort takes you out of purpose. So not out of regret, but out of alignment, I chose to cut my hair. And I do not regret my locks journey. It gave me rest. It gave me freedom. It gave me clarity. But seasons change. And this season is about learning again. It's about teaching again. It's about building again. It's about building her Crown Botanical Company. It's about making products that do work. And it's about coaching you on hair. So if you're watching this and you're unsure about your hair, your journey, your next step, just know this. Seeds don't lie. They grow until it's time to bloom or be replanted. Now I'm inviting you on my Lose Natural Hair journey. Here we will learn, we will grow, we will care for our crowns the way God designed them. So subscribe to this channel. Stay here, stay glued. Ask your questions in the comment sections because I will be there to answer you. And yeah, see you in the next one.